to Just Between Us, where we show you slow motion journal bulleting.
I love that this is like a new thing that's been happening. This is very funny. I like that we've consistently stayed with it.
Yeah, because I ran out of regular intros a couple years ago.
Like, this is funnier. I like this.
Do they ever show slow motion journal bulleting? I feel like
No,
they always speed it up. Can you imagine how boring it would be to watch bullet journaling in slow motion? Okay, so this week I thought we would talk about biphobia because with Pride I was seeing a lot of postings about people. Well, actually I mostly saw reactions to this, which is always an interesting thing because it's like I don't see the people that are actually mad, I just see the people reacting to people being mad. So I have to assume that I'm like somehow being saved from the actual mad people.
Yeah.
But like this reaction of like people being mad that queer women were bringing their straight identifying boyfriends to Pride and that they shouldn't be allowed there, and it sort of felt like again just like an uproar and like the biphobia that tends to happen.
Well, the biphobia that happens within our own community, which is like worse to me than like outside people who don't get it. It's like we eat our own so perfectly. You can't know from just looking at these people, really. There is like discourse, about there being a lot of straight couples now in WeHo. And I think as long as if you are a straight couple in WeHo, as long as you behave yourself and you don't like go like, ew, when two gay men kiss, or like, that you're not like being disrespectful or being too handsy with the guys because they're gay, or, but the thing is that you don't know who is what. So like, a lot of trans people like pass. So what you're seeing that you might think is like, a cis straight guy might not be that. Mm-hmm. Or there's tons of people that identify all kinds of ways and look all kinds of ways. And I am always on the side of bringing more people in. Like, this is just my opinion. I'm always trying to get people to come to West Hollywood or to come to Pride. It's going to be an okay space for you. But then some of y'all make me out to be a liar. The thing is that for some people, you can try to wear paraphernalia. Like, if you don't think that you are getting across what you are. I mean, when I was like very femme bi person, I would always wear like bi shirts or like the bi flag on something, or like rainbow earrings, or kind of like I would, especially with Pride, I would like deck myself out to be like, here we are. And I saw a lot of like couples that were, looked like straight couples, and then both of them were decked out in bi, flags and bi stuff. I think that's one way to do it. Like, I know Alex, who quote unquote passes, wears a lot of trans stuff, like trans shirts and trans flag stuff, and to events when he wants to be read correctly. But it is annoying that we must do that for people in our own community to be welcoming. That being said, I do understand the fear, right? I do understand being suspicious and being like, this is our little space and our safe space. So, but I just think there's a difference between Pride and like a lesbian bar.
Can you say more about that?
There was discourse about a girl bringing her straight cis guy friend to the lesbian bar. And I think that's different. The lesbian bar, you have a reasonable expectation of who will be in there. Mm. Pride, it's like, that's for everybody. If you're an ally, it's good that you're at Pride, but don't like take up a lot of space. Don't be like, I should march at the front of the parade, like don't do that. But if you're there and you're respectful and you're like just kind of, giving money to queer vendors who are selling stuff and like cheering on Kylie Minogue or whatever, like, I don't think that that's something we should be policing. Now we're the police in our own like ACAB situation. But also there are people who are like coming to terms with stuff that they don't yet know about themselves, and they want to be at Pride to feel it out. And I don't think us being like unwelcoming, like the person you're perceiving as, oh, that's just a straight cis boyfriend, could be having gender feelings, could be, questioning their sexuality, whatever. So I just don't, you never know what's going on with people. And it's like, there's some stuff where friends of mine who are trans guys who pass have been like, in the bathrooms, right? In WeHo, like some girl will be like, why aren't you using the urinal? Like, I have to wait for the bathroom. And I've had, Alex has been like, I'm trans, like he's yelled like I'm trans at girls who are just like giving him a hard time for like, why do you need the stall? Like, you're holding up the line. So don't fucking do that.
Yeah. Why do you think that like there is still so much like biphobia in the community?
Fear. I think fear. I think people are scared of men. I think people have fought really hard for their space or for who they are and stuff. So they are, I guess rightfully suspicious. But I do think it is misplaced, like on queer men or trans men. It's like deeply misplaced. But I don't know. I mean, I was facing some stuff around people thinking that I am just a gay guy now, and that the bisexual part of me is like not valid anymore. And that's very strange because it's also this hard thing where I think the bi people are some of the loudest in the community. And so then the backlash against them is even worse. There's been like a thing of you hang out with cis gay men a lot. So you are just that now, and you're not part of this like bi community anymore, which is so funny because some of those men are bi.
It's interesting, right, that like bi women are assumed to just be straight, and then bi men are assumed to just be gay. It's like, well, the default must be everyone would want to be with a man.
Right, that's the thing.
Like,
yes, correct. Correct, yes. Stereotypes about, oh, you're very femme, so you must not be interested in women, or a guy being, you're very femme, so you must not be interested in women. I think it's just still, in this day and age, confusing to people to be bi. But I'm like happy that gender is being more fluid, because I think it doesn't, like, it's giving people more space to talk about not necessarily being monosexual. Sometimes I'm like, are you still bisexual? I mean, I've gone only on dates with women since I've been single. But I was like, oh, are you still bi? And then I'll see like Sasha Colby, who's like the queen that won, a trans woman queen that won season 15 of Drag Race. And I'll be like I turn into like cartoon wolf. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. Like, and so, or if we're at the bar and Megan Thee Stallion video comes on behind who I'm talking to, I'm like, I'm gonna actually need a minute. I've stopped hearing you. Actually, I just have never cared really. So it is hard to think, like, it is hard for me to even like think about what monosexual people are thinking. But I do think it is fear of maybe people coming in and infiltrating your space, and it's people that you're not necessarily used to being around. I understand why lesbians don't want men around. I truly do get that. But like pride is we've got people in kink stuff. We've got the puppy people, and we got,
What's the puppy people?
Oh, the puppies. They wear the puppy mask. The how do I explain this to a straight person? They're like
I'm very intrigued by puppy people.
They are dogs. They think they are.
Back to that. Yes, yeah. I've heard of this.
Yeah. But
are you a puppy person?
But it's different from furries. Sugar and Phantom might just be furries in a costume. Puppy people, it's like leather. It's like a leather puppy. Yeah, they're like in the those are my favorite people, honestly. I understand it. And I understand the fear that comes with it. And I understand wanting to like not be on alert for once in your life at like a thing. But I also feel for the people who are tiptoeing into questioning. And then it's like, well, if you're not welcome there, where are you welcome?
I mean, I know someone who like recently came out to me as bisexual, but like was like, oh, I'd never say that publicly because I'm with a guy. And so she was like, yes, like I can't ever like, claim that. And I wanted to be like, well, you totally can. But like, I think like that's how invasive biphobia is.
Yes.
Right? Where it's like the expectation isn't of acceptance, but of like rejection or like prove it,
Yeah. That, or also just thinking that because they don't think that bisexual people can be monogamous, or they think like it immediately casts suspicion, like, oh, so you must be like not really, you're going to get tired of your husband. You're going to get tired of your boyfriend,
It's like, how do you know if you've never been with a woman?
Right. How do you, well, I mean, people can know that they want to fuck Angelina Jolie without actually fucking Angelina Jolie.
And that's the moral of the day.
Oh my god, one of my sleeves is up and one of my sleeves is down. This is so embarrassing for me.
No.
I was like that for the entire Patreon video, which you can get at patreon.com/justbetweenus.
Good marketing.
Thank you.